Hello, so here we are with golf pro Tony Greco, Mike Hansen, fitness trainer, and Bob Lasken, golf instructor here at Pro Tony Greco. And what we're talking about today, we're looking at Tony's swing and saying, what we said here was the swing was going back, the shaft was a little bit steep going back, and then the right shoulder was stopping, and then the arms were moving independently. And so now, is that a physical limitation, or is that just his golf swing fixing it up? So what we did was, from there we talked about the right shoulder, and then part two of that is we talked about the left leg kind of turning and straightening more coming through the shot. And so again, a little bit of the hip flexibility, not quite able to really turn that through and just let that left leg straighten. So what Mike did is we did some stretches here. Mike, you want to talk about this first stretch once I get it up here? And this is the focusing on the rotator.
Yeah,
rotator cuff.
If there's not enough flexibility in the right rotator cuff, you tend to get that disconnection or the flying elbow. So what I did here, Tony, we looked for about 110 degrees of rotation, and Tony has about 90, so I cranked it back a little bit to do an easy stretch, not a real forceful stretch. And then this is a stretch here that anybody can do at home or with the golf club. Just make sure the elbow stays back, and then you just kind of gently crank on it. Yeah, then you just put the face of the club in your hand, and then just keep kind of pulling up with your opposite hand. You can do that on both shoulders.
Okay, and then talking about the hip.
So the internal rotation of left is very important to have as much internal rotation as you can in your left hip, because if you can't, it's hard to post up on that left leg because the bone can't rotate inside that hip joint. So Tony's pretty limited there, so I did some stretching. Now, you want to be careful you don't crank on it too much, but just a little bit with the left knee, and he felt some cramping there. And then, so we did that one, and there's another one called the stork turn, where you hold on to something and just kind of crank on the knee with the same force that you're going to be doing in the golf swing.
And it's a good idea to do both sides on that, even if one side's bothering you.
To get a good load on the backswing on a right-handed golfer, it's important to have the internal rotation on the right hip as well.
Yeah. And then as we did this, we saw that the backswing able to really turn the right shoulder back more together with the hands, and so there's not that independent action at the end of the swing. So we have the right shoulder and the hands working more together to the end. Then there's no compensation needed on the downswing. Everything's working together. And so then from here, with the flexibility of after stretching out, Tony's able to turn into that left hip and the left leg straightening a little bit more rather than kind of bouncing as a shock absorber. Mike, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, he was able to feel, from the drill we did, he was able to feel how that would feel to post up on that. And then once he put it into a swing, he had more flexibility and was able to get to that left side easier.
And from a teaching aspect, I think the club goes back around on plane better there when that hip clears, because if this knee's staying bent, he's kind of flipping his hands down the line. And so we can see that some of these compensations, you don't need to do them anymore when you're using your bigger muscles properly throughout the swing. So, with the good stretching and having the right physical stretching and strength, you can really get to where you're not having to compensate at all in your swing, and it's just going to be simple. So it's a turn back, turn through. But anything else there, Mike? Looks good.